Hello, hello, and welcome to Wheel of Games. This is Season 0, where I haven't finished constructing the wheel yet, so I'm still picking some games. And we're still on our initial run with Flashpoint. So I've decided to flip the board over. We're going to be playing in a different house today. And just like last time, I'll be using randomness to determine how many players we're going to be playing with. It has to be between 2 and 6, and we'll try Heroic again, see if we can manage it. So, well, it doesn't allow, it's from at least 2 players. I'm rolling ones again. Not a good sign. Okay, 3. I think 3 or 4 is probably the best number of players if you're trying to play on a really hard mode here. So, let's pick our colors. I like to go with the red and blue ones, but who's going to be our third color? Right in half. Looks like we've got yellow today. Red, blue, and yellow. Put this up a bit. Okay, so we'll be playing with 3 characters today. So now we're going to be playing on heroic difficulty, and as always, I want to make sure I'm following the instructions precisely on how to set up the experienced game. So it says to set all the door markers in place. I'll do that, be right back. Okay, I've got the doors in place, and I'm noticing right away that there's definitely a constrained hall, and fewer doors in this house than there were in the other house. Everything sort of goes into this single hallway, bunch of doors at the back. There's only one. Oh, I see there's a side entrance off the kitchen, but there's no entrance into the house on the other side of the building at all. So definitely the different layout's going to present some challenges for us, having to get through without chopping. That was how we lost last time, was, maybe if I hadn't gotten that chop, I could have lasted the 2 more turns to make it out. So, okay, we've got 3 players. Now, the initial placement is semi-random, so we roll the black die, and it gives us 1 of 8 different spots where the initial explosion will be. So location 7 is 4-4. So in this house, that's right in the middle of this hallway. So it gets a starting hotspot. We have fire on both sides, and it damages the walls on both sides of it as well. Okay. The second explosion, we roll both dice, and this one can go anywhere that's not on fire. Okay, red 5, black 6. That's in this corner of the small bedroom. Okay, so it's going to blow that door off the hinges. It will damage the wall right next to it, and we'll put 2 more fire in that room. Okay. Now for the third one, you flip the black die over, so it goes from 6 to 1, and then you roll the red die. So it's right at the front door. So it's going to knock off the front door, placing a hotspot, and it will also put 2 more fire and damage another wall. Lots of starting damage on this one. Okay. Now, because we are playing on Heroic, we are going to get a 4th explosion that is completely random. So red 5, black 2. We've got an explosion in the laundry room / kitchen. Not just kitchen. No laundry room. Okay, so we've got an explosion in that space, so we're going to get a hotspot, 3 more fire, and it's going to damage this wall. It's right next to a door. It's not even a particularly useful bit of damage. Okay, so this is our starting fire. It definitely trends towards the front of the house, so we may be able to get away with our Mr. Calf's guy again, just entering from the front and dousing his way to the back. Okay, so now we've done all 4 explosions, so we place hazmat markers, 5 of them in any spot that is not already on fire. So we've got these to place. Oh. Hello, Aurora. He's come back for more pets. Oh, okay, let's roll the dice. I think down here is a good spot. 4-4, we know that's on fire. Let's see. Red 3, black 1, we know that's on fire. I'm just going to pause the recording, place all these, and point them out to you when I'm done. Okay, so our 5 locations. One of them is in a dangerous spot over in the kitchen by the door. We've got a tank underneath a couch in the living room, or a small armchair. We've got some kind of container in the walk-in closet, and someone's got a supply of flammable hairspray on their bedstand, it looks like, as well as a very flammable soccer ball over in the side bedroom. So they are fairly well scattered. They're all very close to the perimeter, but at least one of them is in very close danger of getting exploded. Okay, so those are in place. Now we've got our points of interest. Just like last time, I randomized as much as I could, but I'm still going to use a die to do the placement, or to choose which ones to go. So there's 15 of them. Where are we placing? Number 2. Oops. Shuffle these back up again. Pause it. Okay, I remixed them around again. So I have no idea what each one is again. We still know that there are exactly 5 false alarms because we got all 5 of them again last game. So this one is going to be first up. And where are you going? Red 2, black 4. So you are on the toilet, passed out from the smoke. Next up, who's coming in? There's 14 left, so number 7. And where are you going? Red 4, black 7. This person is seemingly passed out in the side bedroom, right at the door. And the last one from the initial grouping, number 4, is going to go to, well, there's already someone there, so the little yellow arrow moves it to this space. So we have 2 people in that back bedroom. Might be worth having a rescue specialist chop their way in from the back and get them out from there. So those are our starting points of interest. We're down to 12, so I can swap that one out. Okay. I believe the setup is complete, except for choosing our positions around the house and placing the starting positions of the vehicles. Okay. So I'm going to go over the action rules one more time. I think after this I may start going over them very, very quickly, or just show the cards. But it's 1 action point to move 1 space, 1 clear space. If you're doing something difficult, like moving through fire or carrying a victim or a hazmat thing, it takes 2 action points to move a space, 1 action point to open or close the door. It's 1 action point to degrade fire to smoke or to remove smoke from the board, or 2 action points to go directly from fire to nothing. Smoke will automatically catch fire if it becomes adjacent to fire on the board. So that's why you have to do both of them if it's a fire. Okay, it's 2 action points to chop, which means to intentionally deal damage to the wall. We don't have as many of these markers as we have in the past. We already got a bunch of damage in the building, but it's 2 action points to place one of these damage tokens. If there are 2 of them on a wall, that means that portion of the wall is gone, and you can move through it, as can the fire, without obstruction. The yellow abilities are from the experienced game. It's 2 action points to move a vehicle a quarter of the way around the building. It's a full 4 action points to go all the way around the opposite side. Anyone who's in the spaces with the vehicles can ride for free. It's 2 action points to switch specialties at the start of your turn only. And finally, it's a full 4 action points to fire the deck gun. That is the big hose that's on top of the fire truck. And that rolls a couple of dice and will put out all the fire on or adjacent to the space it hits. Okay, so the parts of a turn is the firefighter takes their actions. The general average is 4, or most of them have 4. There's only 1 person, I think, that has less, and only 1 person with more. So you get 4 action points that you can spend on any of those abilities over on the left. And some of them have special unique abilities or extra move extra action points they can only spend on either movement or extinguishing. This is an example of those. And also this person chops walls for less, but has a penalty to dousing smoke. So all the specialties have their own modifiers on those things. Okay, so if you don't want to spend all of the actions on your turn, you can save up action points for future turn, up to a maximum of 4. Once you're done with your actions, you roll to advance the fire. So whatever spot that you roll is going to create smoke. If there's smoke, it upgrades to fire. If there's fire, you get an explosion, just like how we resolved at the very beginning of the setup. Let's see. If there's a hotspot in the space that you roll, even if there isn't fire in that spot, you have to roll again, kind of like Monopoly. Only you don't go to jail, you can keep rolling and rolling, and that happened in the last game. Ooh, gave us a whole bunch of fire. Finally, if fire enters a space with a firefighter or a point of interest marker, firefighters get knocked down, sent to the ambulance. Points of interest are flipped over, and if it's a victim, you've lost that victim. So there's 2 ways to lose. If you lose 4 victims, then that prevents you from getting the 7 you need to get the victory condition. And if you run out of the damage markers, when you place the last one, you lose the game, because the building has had so much fire damage that the whole thing collapses and everyone remaining inside is lost. Okay, the last part of the turn, the part that I usually forget if I forget something, is to replenish points of interest back up to 3. So if for any reason you've got less than 3 at this point of a turn, you roll new spaces until you're back up to 3. Okay, and to go over the specialist roles, I already showed off the rescue specialist. The driver operator is better at using the deck gun on the fire truck and also gets some rerolls. The CAPS firefighter gets bonus extinguish action points but has fewer regular action points. The fire captain has 2 action points that they can use just for moving other characters around. The hazmat technician can move to hazardous material and dispose of it. Normally, to dispose of hazmat, you have to take it to outside the building, and then it automatically disappears. The generalist has 5 action points that they can use for anything. The imaging technician, who I feel I need to use more, has a unique action where you can spend 1 action point and just flip a point of interest over, and you find out if it's a false alarm or not. And finally, the paramedic has the ability to treat victims, so that instead of having to spend 2 action point per space moving them out of the building, they can walk out with you for just 1 action point apiece. And she also has the penalty to extinguishing fire, just like the rescue specialist, where she pays double to get that going. Let's see. Let me check over the rules, make sure I didn't forget anything before we start the game. Okay, looks like I did forget one thing. There are additional hotspot markers, so you get 3 additional hotspots if you're playing at veteran or heroic level. So even if there's no fire in those spaces, we have to put these down. So 6-5, extra hotspot in... Oh, there's 2 small bedrooms. Okay. Oh, that was not the right die. So 2-2. I may have rolled the wrong die for the first one. That's fine. It was within the proper range. And our last bonus hotspot from this bit is 3-7 over in the master bedroom. Okay, and then 2 additional hotspots if you're playing with 3 firefighters. So I need to roll 2 more. Okay, red 1, black 4 over in that closet. I guess it makes sense. Some fuel leaked into the... Oh, and also right here, that makes sense. There's a little bit of a spill there, so it's going to keep firing up. Okay, and finally, if we're on the heroic level, we have a total of 12 other hotspots that can come into play later in the game. So if you roll a hotspot and you keep rolling until you don't get another hotspot, the last spot that you rolled gets a new hotspot. So hotspots make more hotspots. And one of the biggest things towards winning or losing when you're playing on the higher levels is whether you get hotspots early or you get lucky and don't get them spreading. Okay, so now time to attack this fire. I think I'd love to bring the calf guy along. He's one of my favorites, although the generalist always gets 5 and he's not limited, whereas the calf's guy can get 6, but the other 3 can't be saved, or they just go away every turn. I'm gonna play with the generalist this time and leave my favorite calf's guy behind. And I'll have him start attacking the fire from the front door. Let's see. Last time I was wishing I had the imaging technician to just check out those points of interest. I'll start him wherever the fire truck is so that I can switch him over to something else when hopefully that becomes more useful. And there's a bunch of fire in this corner, so I'm going to start out with the driver operator and put the fire truck over there to start. I'm not sure where I want to put the ambulance to start. The points of interest are back here, but there's no doors. I may end up having someone switch over to the rescue specialist. And since everyone's starting on this side, I'm going to leave the ambulance over here so that they can move the ambulance over later. Okay. I think this is a good starting plan, and we're going to see how this works out. Fight the fire as much as we can, then switch over to rescue mode, move in from the back. Okay, so who's going first? Just divide by 2. I'm not sure I have a particular preference, so imaging person goes first. Okay, so I'm going to identify each of these points of interest in turn. Let's smoke out any false alarms. Okay, we actually have somebody in the bathroom. Second action, we got a false alarm. And third action, we have somebody in the green bedroom, I guess I'll call it. Okay, he's got 1 action left, and I think I'm going to leave him in place, save that up, so he's going to be standing on the fire truck. Next turn, he can switch professions to a different specialty, and we'll see how that works out for him. So it's time for our first fire roll. Okay, red 4, black 5. Explosion right off the bat. Okay, so this tile explodes, meaning we get fire. It goes all the way through to this open space. That's all on fire now. It damages the wall to this side and knocks down the door to that side. Turn 1 explosion. Well, more fire targets is the bright side of that. And we do need to replenish. So which one of these are we going to get? Number 10. This one? And where are you going? Red 6, black 1. That is not a safe spot. Let's hope we can make it safe. Hopefully the driver operator is going to be able to splash this area. But that's a problem. Okay. We've replenished. Now it is the generalist's turn. So we need to fight that fire. So 2 actions to completely get rid of that fire, 1 to move in, and 2 more actions to completely get rid of this fire. Okay, so nothing saved up, but he is actively removing fire from the board. Time for his fire roll. Red 6, black 3. Okay, so we put a smoke there, but because it's next to fire, it immediately catches up, and we know that there's a hazmat there, so it's immediately going to explode. So it does damage to this wall. It's going to put fire in this space. Oh, that was a false alarm where we got lucky. And it's going to knock the doors off on both of those sides. So, no doors left, easier to get in, but it's solid fire up there now. I think I'm getting a little bit lucky that the house isn't immediately collapsing here, but that was not great. And now that we're past the fire, we need to replenish. So lucky that was a false alarm. Let the fire burn through him for once. Instead of... Okay, so number 9 was that one. And where are you going, number 9? Red 1, black 5. You are in the closet. In the master bedroom. Okay, now we've got a couple of people over there. It might be worth it to have our rescue person chop in from the back there. But now it is our driver operator's turn. So he can fire the deck gun for only 2 action points. We need to do that. So to fire the deck gun, you roll the dice. You choose a random space within the quadrant that your fire truck is parked in. So the red 1 isn't in our sector, so you flip it to the opposite side. Red 6, black 7 isn't in our sector, so we switch that over and we get the 4. So red 6, black 4. Now, it extinguishes fire in every adjacent space, which is blocked by the walls, so you'd only get one of them. His special ability is you can re-roll red 6, black 4. I had it one off. That's actually the one space that would not put out any fire. Keeping the 6 is okay, but keeping the 4 there is not. I'm going to re-roll just the 4 using the operator's special ability. So we got the 5, we flip the 5 over, we get a 2. So red 6, black 2 is much better for us. So it takes the fire out of that space. I just remembered I didn't resolve the hotspot at the end of the last person's turn. So I'm going to put this roll off to the side, because before we put this person on the board, I forgot to keep rolling after I rolled that and resolved the explosion. Whew. I don't think I've gone too much farther beyond that, so we're basically at the start of his turn, and we figured out where he was going to roll. He was going to do that anyway. Let's see what further fire happened at the end of that last turn. So red 6, black 4. Well, there's smoke in that space, but that wouldn't have made me want to keep the roll from the other thing. So, okay, and a hotspot got created because that was the leftover of the hotspot roll. Okay, I think I fixed everything. Okay, so we're back to the driver operator's turn. So we know I'm not cheating or anything. We'll just take his roll again. That was a decent roll, so I'm ruling against myself basically to do this. So red 6, black 4. I did it the exact same thing again. I want to re-roll that 4 for the exact same reasons as last time. The 7 flips over. Yeah, the 7 flips over and becomes a 4. So I end up really getting stuck with that space. I do extinguish that fire. That was the operator's first 2 action points. I'm going to fire the deck gun again. Nah. Okay, red 2 gets flipped over. 2 flips over, becomes a 5. Black 4 is actually okay. So that hits this space. I would like to re-roll the 4 and hopefully get something from the first 3 spaces and fight the fire in the kitchen. 4. Whew, the re-rolls are not with me tonight. So red 5, black 4 hits that space. And despite everything else being on fire, I am only hitting the ends of that small red bedroom. But at least I got something each time, as opposed to a complete miss. But oof, the game is not going with me this time. Now it's time for the operator's fire roll. Where are we going? Red 5, black 8. So we have just some regular smoke in the back green bedroom. And no replenishment needed. Right, this guy. There, nothing had to change those. So it is the imaging technician's turn again. Now, if he wants to change roles, he has to do that as the first action of his turn. I can't identify and then swap to see what that thing is. So I'm definitely going to want to swap him out for something else. I think there's a decent question about who should be that other person. Fire captain would not be bad. The rescue specialist, if there's no fire over there, just plopping them in the... Let's go with the rescue specialist. Another one of my favorite ones. Though the paramedic would also be a good choice. But, yeah. We're going with that. So she has spent 2 action points to switch over to the rescue specialist. Then she can move 1 space. I tend to treat the vehicles as just 1 space, even though it's technically 2, but add them in the space as the blue person. So 1 of her free movement, and spend 2 regular actions to ride to drive the ambulance over to this spot, and she'll be in this of those two. I guess I want to cut in from here because I don't want to have to keep going in and out. So, okay, she'll be in that space. So that's all of her action movements. She has 2 free movements left, but no point in using those, so she cannot... Oh wait, I forgot. I do have one more. Although, she could chop with this bonus one. She couldn't get all the way through, but she can get inside. This feels like a terrible idea, but I need a way in that's not covered entirely in flames. So she spent her leftover from the previous turn on her special ability. She can chop for just a single action point. So use the bonus on that. I still have 2 free movements that she can't use because you need 2 damage on a wall to get through it. So that's going to end her turn, and it's time to roll for fire. Okay, red 1, black 5. That is exactly on top of that point of interest. Okay. We do not need to replenish points of interest, so turn goes over to our generalist, our red guy who is fighting the fire from the front line. So spend 2 to extinguish, move 1, spend 2 to extinguish. He has 5 action points, so he's making full use of them every turn. The Calf's guy would be fighting the fire a little bit faster, but in our last game we discovered that once he's fought that fire, we need him to be able to do other things, and the generalist won't have that issue later. We hope. So he's used his 5 actions. Time to roll for fire again. Red 6, black 8. The very back corner underneath the bed. Starting to get some smoke back there. That room is relatively safe, but I need to get to it. Okay. So now the turn moves over to the driver operator. Let's see if we can hit that kitchen again with this deck gun. Okay, red 4, black 8. The 8 isn't in our section, so we flip it over and we've got a 3. Red 4, black 3. That's not a bad spot. It is going to make it a little bit easier for our generalist to get in, and because that door is blown off, the water's going to splash across and take out all 3 of those fires, completely extinguishing them. And I'm going to fire the deck gun one more time in the hopes of getting something in the kitchen. If I can reduce that fire without having to go in there, that would be huge. So the 1 flips over to a 6, and I've got the black 4 again. Oh, the 6 is a great spot, but anything but this 4. Anything but this 4. Use his reroll ability for the operator. That one looks like a 7. Also looks like an 8. That's cocked reroll. 8. So 8's not in the right sector. We flip that over and we've got a 3. Okay, 6, 3. That's here. Well, I don't have any more rerolls in me, so it hits that spot and takes out those 2 fire. Okay, our operator had a much better turn that time. It might be time to switch him over to a new specialty as well after this. But he's done a great job with his 4 action points. Time to roll for fire. Red 1, black 2. We got a little bit of smoke coming out from under the sofa all by itself up there. Thankfully not on the hot spot. I hope I haven't missed any more hot spots. Whew. Okay, now we're over to the rescue specialist. So she's got all her action points this time. So first, we'll use her 1 action point chop to get the rest of the way through that wall. So that was 1 action point. Use one of her free movement actions to get to there. The second of her regular actions to get to there. And her second free movement action to get here. And let's see, we have found the puppy. Okay, so she's got 1 free move action left and 2 regular action points left. So let's get them away from that piece of smoke. So 1 and 1. She's got 1 regular action point left, not quite enough to get the doggy out, but we'll be able to do that next turn. Okay, and that's all the action she can take. So it's time to roll for fire. Red 2, black 7. Okay, we've got a little bit of smoke coming out from under the master bed now. but nothing else happening there. No replenish needs, so back over to the generalist. All the fire he was fighting, that hose came down right next to him and made his life a little bit easier. Although, maybe we don't want that. We want him to deal with this fire. So the question is, do I send him after this fire, or do I send him after this fire? He can take out one full flame. I think I want to send him to the back just to open the way for the rescue specialist to get through. And whatever this person may switch to, or he can still just keep firing the deck gun to try to get to those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's right in the middle of the house, dousing his way down this hallway. But he's used all of his actions. Time to roll for fire again. Red 3, black 8. So just missing that hot spot again. More smoke coming in from the back of the house. And now it is our driver operator turn. We don't need an imaging hazmat. There aren't really many nearby. Now the fire captain would actually be pretty great because he can move other people around, but he still gets his 4 action points. I feel like the 2 free movement of other people is huge, but he can also still do 4 action points by himself. I think that is a great ability because it's almost always going to be useful to move one of the other 2 people. Now that there's 3 of us instead of just 2, he's much more useful. So we'll spend first 2 actions of the turn switching over to the fire captain from the driver operator. So he's got 2 action points left, which doesn't give him much on his own. He could start to move into the building, but I could also always do that next turn. We'll save those, his 2 regular action points, for a future turn, but I have 2 action points where he can order someone else to move, like this rescue specialist. He can order them to save the dog. Oops. Well, firefighter is down, but the doggo is safe. Okay, yay, first victim saved. So that was with his command action points. Yep, and those are at the normal movement cost of the player being moved, such as 2 action points to move with a victim. Okay, blue's turn is done, so now we need to roll for fire and replenish afterwards. So red 5, black 8, this has burst into flame, and now we've got some danger in that back room, and I'm glad the generalist is on the way. And replenishment time. So go up to the D10. Who are we taking? Number 8. And where is number 8 going? Red 6, black 1 is on fire. Goes to there, goes to there. Right next to our generalist. This is following the little arrows on the board to the next open space. And I guess the generalist has a reason to double back, if at least just to confirm that that's not a false alarm. But that'll have to wait till it's their turn, because now it is the rescue specialist's turn. So, let's see, where are the victims? There's someone in the bathroom. Well, we can't get to that easily because of this the fire in the doorway, and she's not good at putting out the fires. So let's rush straight for this victim. So she's got the 3 free movement action points, 1 to open the door, and then 2, 3, 4. That was all of her bonus movement plus her regular movement, and we might as well hold on to the 1 because we can't move a person with just 1. Okay, that's the end of her regular turn, so time to roll for fire. Red 2, black 6. So we got some smoke coming in on our way, and that's dangerous because if anything happens, maybe that door gets blown off, or well, that can all light up at once. But no hotspots, so not doing too bad. And we don't need to replenish right now, so it is the generalist's turn. I think it might be worth it just to have the fire captain come in and handle this, because if that isn't a victim, he'll just proceed to the fire, and if it is a victim, he'll escort them out that way. So I am going to let the generalist keep trying to fight the fire that's right in front of him. So 1, 2, 3. And he's got 2 more action points. I think for the first time the Generalist is going to hold on to those action points because he can't downgrade that because it's next to other active fire. And really he's just putting himself in danger if he moves in front of the fire. So he'll stay where he is. Save those 2. It's time to roll for fire. Red 5, black 7. Ah, terrible position for that. I was almost there. But that puts smoke there, and because it's adjacent to active fire, we have lost our first victim. Ah, that's the coroner spot. In the previous games, we've managed to avoid losing anyone until at least halfway through the game, but we lost someone this time. Just really poor luck. Okay, but that's it for the fire roll. So now we need to replenish that person. So, number 4. And where are you going? Red 2, black 7. So that is directly on top of more smoke. And that's exactly demonstrating what I was talking about a second ago. Smoke next to fire can go up really fast. So probably best to have the Generalist go deal with that just to make sure, well, not going to be their turn for all, but just to make sure the Rescue Specialist has a way through. Okay, so now it's the Fire Captain, who has 6 regular action points, and the 2 he can give to other people. I'm almost certain the command action points are just going to be spent getting the person with the victim closer to the ambulance. So now he's got 6 of his own. The 4 plus the 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And, that was a false alarm. Let's see. Just like before, I'm not going to move directly in front of the fire because he's safe where he is. We'll just hold on to that bonus for a future turn. So time to roll for fire and then replenish points of interest. Okay, red 2, black 1. We have smoke directly on top of that hazmat that I was trying to hopefully ignore, but like last time, those hazmats can cause us some real big trouble by knocking down the house, which is almost halfway down at this point. There's a total of 24 and there's 15 left. Okay, and now we need to replenish again because of the false alarm. Let's confirm. Yeah, there's only 2 on the board. So, D8, who's next? 6. And where are you going, number 6? Red 2, black 3. Well, that's extra incentive to send the fire captain up there and deal with the smoke and all of the other bits. Good. Okay. And now it is the rescue specialist's turn, who has been saving up action points. So use the first 2 free movement, the last of her free movement, and the first of her regular movement. So she's got 3 left plus the bonus. That's enough to move 2 more times. So she's used that bonus, but she has passed the fire, and on the next go around, she'll be able to get out to that ambulance. But that is all of her actions, so it's time to roll for fire. Red 2, black 7. It's happened again! Whew, funky rolls. So this upgrades to fire, which also cuts off the path behind her, and we have lost our second victim. Oh, it was nice when that hit a false alarm, but that's happened 3 times to us this game. If we lose 4 people, we have lost, so we cannot let that keep happening. But it's been chance. No hotspots, but direct, targeted strikes of bad luck. Okay, and now we need to replenish the person we just lost. Keep saying that. Number 1. Where are you going, number 1? Red 4, black 7. Right in front of... next to fire and hazmat stuff. Ah, it's the generalist's turn. I know where I have to send him now. I was going to send him up to that point to try to lessen that, but that plan has changed. So our generalist, we are going to save whatever is at this point. So move 1 to get to there. Second action opens the door. Third action moves on top of it. We have found a victim. 4 and 5, extinguish the fire that is putting us at immediate danger. If I move back to there, the fire can come in from that side. If I don't move, those can set that off and kill us from there. I'm at a really bad darned if you do or if you don't kind of situation here. I think what I can do is... What's my best opportunity here? Because I want to just take her straight out to the ambulance, but that door's closed, so he can't just order me through. I think my best bet is just to stay put, hold on to the 2 bonus, because he went 1, 2, douse that for 3, 4. I guess instead of dousing this fire as the as his 3rd and 4th actions, because he moved, opened 3, so 3 actions so far, I can 4, 5, pull the victim over to here, and then he can use his 2 bonus actions that were saved up to douse this fire. And now we are much safer than we would have been in that terrible situation we were in the other room. So this is at least a bit safer. There's still a good chance of explosion in that room, but maybe I can leave the rescue specialist to handle, deal with 1 fire anyway, and just come in and shuttle back and forth with that ambulance. Hello. He's come up for more attention. He's been sitting in that chair the whole time, but he's up. Are you having a good nap? Okay, back to the game. So that was the generalist's actions. It is time to roll for fire. And we'll see if I just saved someone's life with that adjustment. Red 3, black 2. We've got just some regular old smoke. And we don't need to replenish for once. That's nice. Okay, so we're going to start with the 2 command action points. So for those 2 actions, we can rescue our 2nd victim. We've caught up with the deaths. Oh, yeah, she's in that space. Okay, so he's got 4 actions of his own, where we really want to deal with the smoke that's in there. Like, he could go 1, 2. Well, if I want to get that smoke, I'll get that smoke on the way out. So 2 actions. We have found another victim. And I'm going to move 3 to there and 4 to get rid of the smoke. At some point, that's going to explode if I don't do that. And just the structural damage alone could make us lose. I will save this victim, but I gotta deal with that fire. Yes. Okay, so now it's time for his fire roll, because we've used... Oh, he's got 1 more saved up action. I forgot about that. So he can get both of those smokes. Alright. So now we need to fire roll, then replenish. So where is our fire roll coming in? Red 2, black 3. Exactly where that point of interest just popped up. Eek. Okay, and now for our replenish. We've only got 6 left. We're going through them, for better or worse. So where are you going? Red 2, black 6. That space is on fire, so they move to there. That's on fire, so the arrows on the board have moved that point of interest over to there. Well, at least the rescue specialist will get a chance to move before fire can come and kill this person. So, first movement action point. That's the free action. So it costs her double to extinguish fire and smoke, so it's going to take all 4 of her regular action points to get rid of just 1 piece of fire. But she does it, and she still has 2 free movement left. And we can check... Hey, we have found another person. So she can just be shuttling people in, or out, I suppose, to that ambulance at least. That's not a bad thing. So we've at least got a plan for 2 more of these victims. But plans are always wrecked by the fire roll. What you got for us? Red 3, black 6. This is so familiar. And the smoke keeps popping up right where I've discovered victims. Oh well. Okay, no replenish needed. We are over to the generalist. Let's have the generalist open that door and extinguish the smoke that just came up because it's making me nervous. He's got 3 action points left. I really want to deal with the fire in that room, and there's one scary fire in this room. Let's send him back to here. I forgot I was standing on a victim, but that's a good reason to move here then. So 3, 4, 5. So that victim is a little bit safer. We'll send the generalist out to clean up the fire in here and then in there while the rescue specialist is working on these victims. Sounds good. Fire roll. Red 4, black 8. Ah. Well, even if I had done it the other way, I would have been extinguishing that. So this actually saved my firefighter from getting knocked down if I had gone into the other room, because that smoke comes in, it goes to fire, and immediately causes this hazardous material to explode in this space. So that's going to cause structural damage to that wall, all the way through to that wall, and it places fire in this space, which is where I would have been standing if I had gone the other way. So that side was more dangerous, and if I had gotten knocked down, our generalist would have been sent straight to the ambulance. But now that side is more frightening again. Okay, but that's the end of the generalist's turn. We don't need to replenish, so fire captain's time. We've got his 2 command action points, and while I could move the red guy out to the victim, he can't move the victim with him, like he can with our yellow person, who I'm a bit nervous being right next to that fire, but our rescue specialist is just going to have to run for it. So that was his 2 command action points. He has 4 of his own. So let's move him 1 to here. We will extinguish 1 smoke, and the remaining 2 of his action points gets the victim out to there. I think we'll have him just take the victim outside, where we can call the ambulance after we've dealt with those, and the ambulance can pick them up on their own. Okay, so that's all of his action points. Time to roll for the fire. Not one of those... It's happened again! Wow. It's very difficult to respond to this, so to show you what I'm talking about, red 4, black 6. Smoke in the exact space where a point of interest is, but that door is open, it immediately catches fire, and we've lost our 3rd victim. If we lose any more people, we lose. That is rotten luck. I didn't think about just closing the doors. I never close the doors because the odds of that happening are very small. Oh, I feel bad. But that was, let's see, 4, 6. Yeah, that was not a hotspot, so we're done with the fire roll. Now we need to replenish again. And several of these are going to be false alarms. Well, we got 2 of them left. So I need between 1 and 5. Okay, number 1. So where are you going, number 1? Red 5, black 4. The corner of this room. I want to say they're relatively safe there, but we know that's not true because you can just get hit and doubled before the next turn, or the next round at least, happens. Ooh. Okay, so that was the fire captain's turn. So it's now time for the rescue specialist to try to save people. We're not even keeping up with the deaths. But we'll use her 3 movement and 1 of her action points to rescue somebody. Okay, we've got our 3rd rescued victim, and she has 3 action points left. Now, just sending her straight back in, like there's fire in the way, the victims are in different spots. She could drive the ambulance over to there, but he's not going to reach her. We're just going to hold on to all 3 of her regular action points and just see where this person comes up. If the next point of interest pops up right in front, I'd feel really dumb if we moved the ambulance. At least right now. So, time to roll for fire. What have you got for me today? And replenish again. Red 5, black 8. Okay, we've got another explosion in the back bedroom, and this is going to do some damage. So it hits that wall, it hits that wall, it hits that wall, and it finishes knocking down that wall. And now that this wall is knocked down, this catches fire. Also, that is now an open space between the generalist and that other room. Eek. But it wasn't a hotspot, at least. So now it is time. Take the d8, divide by 2. Who's next? Who's next? Where is this replenishment going? Red 3, black 7. Right next to all that fire. On the hotspot. And given my proclivity to in the same spot more than once, not a good sign for them. Okay, but that was our replenishment, so now it is the generalist's turn. Even if I sent the generalist straight there, I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, and reduce one of those to smoke. Or I can just fight the fire that's in front of me and leave the victim to the rescue specialist. Oh. Well, the fire captain's up next, so if I fight that fire for 2, I can get him there and the fire captain can move us away. So 3, 4, 5. We have found Kitty. If we lose Kitty, we lose the game. Okay, so that's all of there. Oh, you can just see the top. She's still with me. She likes to sit next to me while I'm playing games. Okay, so now it's time for the generalist's fire roll. Red 4, black 5. We haven't had something in the very center of the building in a while. Okay, and we don't need to replenish. Oh, yeah, that's the seam in the middle of the board, not the edge of the line. Okay. Okay, fire captain. Use his free command moves to get us out of danger there. So now the rescue specialist can come in and get them out. He's got 4 action points of his own, so douse that smoke, and he can move her 2 towards the outside, but he's still going to have 1 action left over. So we can get them out and maybe on a future turn call the ambulance to pick them up. And that's all he can do. It's time for the fire to advance. Red 5, black 8 sounds so familiar. Okay, 5, 8. So we've got structural damage in that side. That's already knocked down the wall, so it goes straight into here. That actually goes outside. Technically, you place the fire, but any fire outside goes away at the end of the turn. And it goes through that wall over to here. Okay. As far as explosions go, that only did 1 damage, but we're pretty low on our hit points for the house left. There are only 7 total black cubes left. Whew, so not much more damage we can take. But that's the end of the fire, no replenishment needed. So it's the rescue specialist. And she's got a bunch of extra movement. So we'll take her 3 free moves into the house. And then she can, for 4 action points, regular ones, she can use those. And then 2 more of the bonus ones. Gets us outside and we have saved another victim. Okay, we're up to 4. We've now exceeded our death count, but we need to get to 7 to win. And we're going to need most of the points that are left. She does get to hold on to 1 more, and just like last time, I'm not going to try to move the ambulance. Maybe the new point of interest will show up just in front of that wall. So time to roll for fire and then replenish. Red 6, black 5. So we've gotten a hotspot for the first time in a long time. So that's not directly connected, so now we roll again, and we may place a new hotspot. Red 1, black 3. That's up in this corner, and yeah, looking at it, we really have not had many hotspots in this game. We should be doing better if it wasn't for those exceedingly bad luck rolls. So I guess that takes the camera froze. Looks like we're back. That takes the bad luck's place of getting rolling hotspots, because really losing the victims is worse. Okay, so we put our fire down. It hotspotted over to there. We need to replenish our victims. Oh, we've only got 3 left. 5, so divide by 2. Where are you going? Red 1, black 5. So this is in the bathroom that is right next to our rescue specialist, but there's already smoke there too. So that person is in danger. Let's see, he was left sitting there. Okay, now it is the generalist's turn. So, do I run him over to fight the fire, which could cause the house to burn down? Or do I take the 1 in a very small odds that that particular spot's going to catch fire, have that be a victim, and end our game? I feel like I have to have him fighting the fire. And, oh, it is a big gamble, but 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5. On those, he has no leftovers, but we need to fight this fire, or the house will just fall over. Ironically, if there's no walls in that room, it doesn't matter so much that the fire keeps exploding in there, because it's not going to damage once all the walls are down. Okay, so this is the fire roll at the end of the generalist's turn. Red 5, black 3. We get some smoke that immediately gets upgraded to fire because it's next to fire, and we don't need to replenish at this time. Okay, the fire captain. Well, he does have the 2 command action points. I think for once we're going to split it. I'll put 1 over there, and I'll put 1 over here. I know he's in danger, but I need every action point I possibly can to be spent on extinguishing. Because with her, she can use the free movement to get in and all the way out to the ambulance, and have more to save for future turns again. Whereas putting her on the spot would reveal right away if that was a false alarm. You know what? That's worth it. His whole turn will just be doing that. So we'll spend the 2 command AP just moving her from the ambulance in. False alarm again! I suppose that's a good thing. Now we're not worrying about losing that person. Instead, we're worrying about losing... Oh, I haven't used his regular moves yet, because that was just going to be double move out to there. Okay. So she's outside. If I just pull the ambulance around, this person will get rescued as well. And the ambulance can be moved by anybody with the radio. So now it's the fire roll time, and we're going to need to replenish. So red 5, black 6. Anything red 5 is bad. Red 5, black 6 is this space. So we have an explosion that caused fire through the doorway, through there, and into this space. And now this point of interest is very, very in danger, because any of those will cause an explosion straight into it. This side, there's still a wall there, but you need walls to not die. Ooh. Yeah, I need the generals to just be taking that out. And I may need to swap the rescue specialist into someone else. But let's see where the point of interest is going to spawn. And we'll just take this one. There's only 2 left. In the supply, red 4, black 2. That is relatively savable, relative to all of the other ones. So in between this spot and those 2, one of them is a false alarm, and 2 of them are victims. If we lose any more victims, we lose the game. Okay. So that was the last of his turn. Now we're over to the rescue specialist. So she's got the 3 free movement. Let's just move her to the ambulance. Spend 2 of her action points driving the ambulance over to this side. It can be in any space on the other side. So we've rescued our 5th person. Yay! So she's used 2 free movement and 2 of her regular actions. So she's got 1 free movement left, and she has 2 regular actions left. So we will find out, not a false alarm. Okay, so one of those 2 is a false alarm, And if it's this one, I'm very in a bad spot. Okay. Now she has one extra spot, but the most she could do is chop the wall. Bad idea. With the extra one she has left over. So we'll end her turn. Roll for fire. It's a really close game again. Red 3, black 1, directly at the front door between me and the ambulance, and it's a hot spot. We've been avoiding those so well this game. Red 5, black 7. We might have just lost the game. Let's find out. So, this spot explodes. So we've got fire this way. The fire that way just goes outside and disappears. We hit that, and we get fire in this space. If this is a person, we lose. But if it's not a person, like it's the 6th, then it just all depends on where this gets spawned. False alarm! So lucky! So we know that this is a person, and they're about to get, let's see, 5-7, so that is now a hotspot. Just so I don't forget. So the whole row of 5 is now on fire, but we're done rolling fire for now. Where is our last, we know it's a victim, going? Red 4, black 3. I don't want to hide number on that one. Okay. So immediately next to all of the fire, or some of the fire anyway, but we're also very low on house health, so we still need to fight this fire. Okay. It is now the generalist's turn, who is the farthest away from everything we need to be saving over there. I'm just going to ignore that one piece of fire over there. I need to put this stuff out. So move 1, 2, 3 to douse that, 4 and 5 to just douse that smoke. And he's just going to put out as much fire as he can during these last few turns. Okay, so he's done. Roll for fire! Red 4, black 8. That's another explosion. And our first knockdown, it looks like, because that is it's right here. So that's going to send fire. We damage this wall, so now that wall is also destroyed. It goes out that way, over to here, and into the space with our firefighter. I believe this is the first time this has actually happened, so let's just make sure we do this correctly. Okay, I'm back. So the rule about getting knocked down is you don't go to the ambulance, you go to the closest, as the crow flies, ambulance parking spot. So that is 3 spaces away, that's 4, these are farther, so he actually gets teleported to there because that wall is down, and if he was carrying a victim, that victim would be lost. Thankfully that's not an issue, but whew, so much fire over there. It'd be nice if he could suddenly switch over and become the operator, but the fire truck's way over there. Okay, so we figured out, and 4-8. Yep, that was our explosion. Okay, so now there's nothing left to refill. We only have these 2 spots, and by elimination, we know they're both victims. So nothing left to resupply there. Now it's the fire captain's turn. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4. He does have one free one, but he can't downgrade this because it'll just pop back up. And if he moves the rescue specialist there, he won't be able to move her out using his special action points. So I can't protect that person this turn, which is really frustrating me. What he can do is remove that smoke, because that smoke is in a very dangerous spot between me and the remaining victims. 2, 3, 4. And then he can order her to move 2 action points, carry that person. So she'll be able to get him to the ambulance. We're not too far away, but we need to prevent the house from falling down in the meantime. Whew. Okay, so that was all of his actions. He does have one saved up, but like I said before, he can't help that victim at the moment, so that said, if we lose that victim, we all die anyway, so let's prove, yep, that's our last victim, and we'll just stare this fire in the face in the doorway. Stare it down. Don't come at me, fire. Okay, time to roll for the fire. Red 6, black 1. So we have an explosion in the kitchen. We have not had much over here So now we only have 2 black cubes left, and the last fire goes there. Oh, so many places that can just kill us if we roll them. I do not want a red die to be a 5 or a 6 at all. Basically a 1 in 3 death each time. But that is the end of that turn, so it's the rescue specialist. So we can use the 3 free movement plus one of her other ones to get our 6th victim to the ambulance. So she's got 3 regular movements left, and her last bonus point gets her onto the same space with the fire captain. So I think between the two of them, if it gets back to her turn again, like he can move her to there, and she can move him all the way out. But it has to get to her turn again. So we've got 3 more fire rolls we have to survive. Whew, we're close. Roll for fire. Red 1, black 7. I just want to hear red 1. Red 1. Maybe a red 2 that's not an 8. Yeah, any of these will also kill us because it'll hit that and that'll explode both of those. Oh no! No black 8s either. No red 5s or black 8s or we die. Okay. So, it is now our generalist's turn. So how can you protect us from all of the death that's around us? Well, number 1, he stands back up. He spends 2 dousing that fire. That at least disconnects those fires from each other. So he's got 2 left. He can take down any one of these fires. Taking this one down doesn't really help us very much, because if that goes off, it's just going to go straight through to there. Anything else is just going to go and put that fire right back. I think I want to take out this one because it's next to a wall, or this one because it's next to a couple of walls. That's tough, because any of those 2 would blow that up. Any of these 2, it's death either way. Not worth overthinking it. So, that's all 5 of his actions. Time for Red's fire roll. Red 1, black 5. Okay, this smoke gets upgraded to fire. We have another thing that can kill us if it rolls. But it is the fire captain's turn. So, he'll use his free commands to move the rescue specialist and the victim up to there. He now has 4 actions of his own. Exactly 4, though. He could douse that. It wouldn't do a ton, or he could douse that. I think dousing that and isolating... I mean, really, if any of those go off, it's going to damage 2 walls, no matter what happens, because they're all surrounded by walls. This one actually has doors everywhere, so it would only damage 1 wall. So I gotta take this out for 2 actions. He only has 2 left. He can't help. You know, can't help get anything else out. So I guess he holds on to the 2 because he can't really do anything with them. And he's not going to get another turn. Really, this roll is the entire rest of the game. Because if she gets her turn, we get the victim out and we win. But if any damage happens to that building, we lose. Ooh, big roll, big roll. Roll 4, fire. Red 1, black 4. Oh my god. Okay, red 1, black 4. That is not only a hot spot, but it's the hazmat that I did not deal with forever ago. But I never really had time to. So that's next to the fire that we got on the previous 2 turns ago. It immediately lights, it immediately explodes. The building has collapsed on the very last turn. Oh, this was close. But it was very, very close. We easily could have won this one, although there were a lot of ways we could have lost this one as well. I wasn't expecting the closet to be what killed us. There was no smoke, well, no fire there the entire game. Ah, that was close. That hurts, though. Well, we'll see what happens in the next video. I wish I had the wheel fully operational so I could use that to choose, but that's still coming. So, until the next time, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.